My name is Amit, and I'm part of IACF, who is hosting this event with Mr. Dr. Harmesh Kumar. Today's event is Unity Conclave. It's 30 years of pretty much taking off the 30 years of IACF, which is Indian Indo-American Community Foundation, founded by some ST members who came to this country in 70s and 80s, and been a critical part of the Indo community in Bay Area. Now, what's the reason we thought Unity Conclave is very important at this time? And that is, currently we feel that every religion, every faith, everybody should be together. It's not about what faith or religion I am. It is about we are all humans. We have our faith. We have our own religion. But the thought process is same. The basics are same. So today we want to start the dialogue with community leaders. We have excellent panelist and keynote. I would like to invite our panelists to join us on this table. May I have Mr. Dr. Jasveer Khan? Sanjeev Goyal. Tasawwur Jalali. Jeevan Zutshi. Dr. Harmesh Kumar. And Reverend Will McRae.
He couldn't make it.
He couldn't make it.
He will be late.
Ajay Butoria. But we have Ms. Campbell here. And great. Honorable Council Member.
City of Fremont.
Yes, I know. I'm from Fremont.
And then we have Archana Panda.
And we have Archana Panda ji. Thank you everyone for coming down at a short notice. We were expecting there was change of venue, change of date, so I think the rest you can see. But still we want it to be more informative, more learning experience today. And thank you all for coming. Here I would like to invite Dr. Harmesh Kumar to share some words.
So first of all, I would like to thank Jeevan ji. Jeevan is, most of you know what Jeevan means. Jeevan means life. So he is our life. He is the one who brought all of us together. For 30 years, the work he has been doing to bring the communities together is so amazing. And I have been associated with him since that time. And most of you know a little bit about me too. I'm into mental health. I'm clinical neuropsychologist. I used to own my most nursing home and assisted living 2-3 years ago. When COVID hit, I sold most of my facilities, and now I work as a consultant with the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation with the state of California. I work in the acute setting, inpatient psychiatric unit. People who are very suicidal, they come to me and we try to stitch them emotionally for 30-60 days, and we send them back to the prison system. So we have been talking for many years, and that our community has been growing quite a bit, and Yogi Chug was talking earlier, our friend, he has been community leader since we came here. I have been seeing Yogi Chug from the very beginning, and thank you for doing the work you are doing. And what we are saying that when we came, we were very few people from India origin. And now we have multiple people from all walks of life, all states of India, all different language, all different perception, all different educational level, and all different understanding and worldviews. I'm also part of the Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County for almost 30 years. I have been working with interfaith communities that we need to bring, religion has been used to divide people. And we have been promoting for the last 30 years that religion never divided people. Religion always tried to unite people. So that's the work which Guru Nanak did 550 plus years ago. He wanted to bring all the Indians, all the Middle Eastern together. He said, Naam hai Hindu, Naam hai Musalman. He didn't call himself Hindu, he didn't call himself Musalman at that time. But even after 550 plus years, his message is not being listened to, even by his own people, even by Sikhs. They even don't pay attention to what he said. So, what about, and even in Hinduism, there is no, if you look at the all the epics of India, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Vedas, there is no mention of Hindu word in those Vedas. Even in Gita, there is no mention of Hindu word. It was created only to divide us by some politicians. Initially it was Sanatana Dharma, and we still believe in that. All of us part of that Dharma. If you look at the Ten Commandments of Christianity, look at the Panchsheel policies of when World Health UN was established, and you look at Buddha's philosophy, you look at Guru Nanak's philosophy, you look at Prophet Muhammad's philosophy, look at Bhagavad Gita, all these things are saying the same thing. The only thing is different is their language. So when we have so many languages, the message is same, and some of these politicians, most of you know, I'm trying to get into politics for 20 years, but they don't want people like me over there. Every time I run, I don't win because I talk sensibly. When you talk sensibly in the insane world, you have to be alone. And that loneliness sometimes, if you don't know the system, you don't have the skills. Sometimes loneliness causes depression and sometimes suicide. But because I'm a student of psychology, I know those skills a little bit because I'm in this for 40 years. So we thought that it would be good to bring people together. Now recently we are seeing the government of India is in the news for the perception we are getting in the world that they are trying to kill the Sikh activists in Canada and in America, or all over the world for that sake. And then you have that kind of narrative, that kind of perception created by CIA, created by FBI, created by the Western world. It hit us somewhere. We're all Indian. We need to raise our voice. If it is true, we need to raise our voice. If it is not true, it's false, we need to raise our voice in that way. And we have been divided into different race, religion being Indian. We are the only community, if you look at the American politics, we are the only community which has done so well in America. We are the only community. And they call us, because I'm very much intimately involved in the political system. Most of the CIA officers, they work with me in the prison system and outside. They talk to me, FBI officers work with me, they talk to me, how they see the world. If the child is being killed in Ukraine, the media, Western media, call that child an angel. If a child is killed in India, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Mexico, and Gaza, they call them monsters. This is Western media. So they create that narrative, environment to mental health. CIA, American Psychological Association, American Psychiatric Association, they trained CIA officers in Guantanamo how to torture people so that that torture will not be detected by the media. And when we have those kind of professionals, organizations, those who are training people how to torture people, human beings. And our late Senator Dianne Feinstein, she fought the CIA. President Obama told her not to release that report. She didn't agree to that. And when she decided to release the report of torture, CIA went to her office in the Senate, ransacked her office, took away her computers, threatened to kill her, and she said nothing doing. Now I am going to release the report. She was the true Sikhni, true lioness, true Rani Chansi in Indian context. And I'm trying to run for her seat now to replace her. So we need to bring leaders, those who speak the truth to the authorities. Guru Nanak spoke the truth to the Bible. And there are many Hindu saints. Look at Kabir. Kabir said, Jati na pucho sadhu ki puch leo gyan, mol karo talwar ka padi rahen deo myan. Look at that. And when we have such rich wisdom in India, and we are being scattered, we are being fragmented, we have been told our different narratives, we have been sold our different narratives. And that's why we are here together. And I would like to invite Jeevan Zutshi ji to have a keynote address to all of us. Thank you, Jeevan ji.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar. We have a very distinguished panel here. Mr. Tasawwur Jalali, who is with Ibadat Khana, which has been striving to bring peace and harmony amongst different communities. We have Archana Panda, he's a poetess and very involved in the community. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit indisposed, but I'll try my best to do this. And of course, we have our Honorable City Council member, Desiree Campbell, who I have a lot of respect for, and we're very honored that she's here. Dr. Harmesh Kumar, he's the host, he's the one, this is his brainchild, someone that I have known, as he said, for 30 years, and who has been really striving. It comes naturally to him. He doesn't have to make any effort. He's a man, he loves to see people together, different communities together, different religious groups together, and I really salute him. Please give him a round of applause. We have Dr. Kank. I just got to meet him through Dr. Harmesh Kumar, and he traveled all the way from Yuba City. And as you all know, Yuba City is the place where actually the first Indian immigration began. And they are the people who changed so many laws, they did so many things, the Gadar party, fighting for independence in India, and so many other things which have happened. Not many people know. I'm very sure not many people know that I came in 1972. I think people, they believe that, the Indians who are here, they came in 90s, the IT guys. But that's history. And we're going to have a session where Dr. Kang, he was mentioning that we should talk about history and where Indians came from and how they settled down, in this country and how many things they went through. It's the civil rights, the bill which was passed finally in, I think, 1965. Yogi, am I right? Was it 1965? That's when the laws were made and immigration was allowed. And that's how I came, and that's how some of us came as, members of like second preference, third preference, fourth preference, like I was an engineer, so I was able to come, engineering graduate, so I was able to get approval from Department of Labor to come here. And lots of people came that time. And then, of course, the relative preferences, and then, of course, the IT and the huge wave, which has brought a lot of prosperity and a lot of things to this country. And I see someone that I was looking around and I said, where is Amrita Kar? Amrita, you can come here. You have your friend here, Stara. So, and of course, Dr. Kang, and we have Mr. Sanjeev Goyal. Sanjeev Goyal is the founder of Droices, and Droices is an emerging company. It's in IT and is doing extremely well. But it's not only the business itself, but it's the philanthropic activities. It's so many things which go with that. And Sanjeev has also written a book which is on artificial intelligence, and we're very proud that we have people like Sanjeev and what is Amit Goyal, and they're running the Droices, which is as I said, a very emerging software company, IT company, artificial intelligence, and so many other things. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Ramesh Kanda, and I'm very fond of him, particularly because of not only is he a noble man by nature, but he's also someone who resonates with what we have been talking about, harmony, peace, bringing people together, bringing religious groups together, bringing everyone together. And he is also the former president of our IACF. And he did some mistake, and so we had to just change.
It's not quite true.
The practice coming back.
So, so I have something which is now written about, I'm not like Dr. Harmesh Kumar, Dr. Harmesh Kumar can go on and on and on, he can speak and all that, but I have to rely on some written stuff. But I'll make it very quick. And it's just basically about unity. And promoting unity in any community or society is crucial for fostering harmony and progress. And today I would like to share some key insights on how we can actively contribute to promoting unity in our own spheres of influence. Firstly, communication plays a pivotal role. Engage in open, respectful dialogue to understand diverse perspectives. Listen actively. That's something my grandfather said I don't do. I don't listen. Listen actively, seeking to comprehend rather than merely respond. This lays the foundation for mutual respect and understanding. Secondly, celebrate diversity. Embrace the unique backgrounds, cultures, and experiences that each individual brings to the table. By acknowledging and appreciating our differences, we create an inclusive environment that values every voice. Thirdly, promote education. Knowledge is a powerful tool against prejudice. Knowledge is a powerful tool against prejudice and ignorance. Encourage learning about various cultures, histories, and beliefs. Through education, we break down stereotypes and build bridges of understanding. Furthermore, community involvement is key. Actively participate in local initiatives that bring people together. Volunteer, join community events, and collaborate on projects that address shared challenges. Working together towards common goals fosters a sense of belonging. Empathy is another vital aspect. Put yourself in others' shoes to better understand their experiences and challenges. This emotional intelligence strengthens the bonds that tie us together. fostering a sense of shared humanity. Moreover, be a positive influence. Lead by example, demonstrating kindness, tolerance, and patience in your interactions. Small acts of compassion create a ripple effect that can inspire others to follow suit. Additionally, address conflicts constructively. Disagreements are inevitable, but resolving them with respect and a willingness to compromise is essential. This approach prevents divisions from escalating and reinforces the importance of unity. Lastly, support inclusive policies. Advocate for and participate in initiatives that promote equality and inclusivity. By actively contributing to positive change, we create a society where everyone feels valued and included. In conclusion, promoting unity requires a collective effort. Through effective communication, celebrating diversity, education, community involvement, empathy, positive influence, conflict resolution, and support for inclusive policies, we can build a stronger and more cohesive society. Let's all work together to create a world where unity is not just a goal, but a reality that binds us all together. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Dr. Kumar, you're back? You're the moderator?
Go ahead.
I would like to also recognize we have Mr. Sujay Sarkar. He's one of the prominent directors of our Indo-American Community Federation, and he's also helped me. He's a very quiet man, and he's just doing his job right now. And we have also Rahul Zutshi, my son, who is also director of IACF. He's the one actually who was 12 years old when he suggested that the name of the organization should be Indo-American Community Federation. I don't know how he got it that time, but this is really true. This is really true. He just is traveling from Washington, and we're very happy to see you. And of course, Naresh Sharma, he's Dr. Naresh Sharma, and he's also director. So we have some wonderful people. And, I would definitely, before I sit down and keep my mouth shut, we have Mr. Tasawwur Jalali's father here, who is visiting from Kashmir, and we are very honored with his presence. Very, very honored. And of course, his daughter, Tasawwur's daughter, is here. She has become a doctor, and and Sarah is here, and we're so happy to have you all here. Thank you. Amrita Kar, she is also, Kashmiri, and she's my adopted daughter. She is so active that you cannot believe it, but active in wonderful activities. She has created several groups, Kashmir Poetry, Kashmiri Book Club, Kashmiri. She is very, very, very attached to Kashmir and the culture, and she's doing a lot of work in promoting that. Thank you.
Your name, Amrita, is a very famous name, Amrita Pritam. She was one of the best known Punjabi poets, and she was too much ahead of her time. She was the only woman at that time who tried to break the boundaries, social boundaries of the Indian, and that women should be only living within their boundaries, not cross those boundaries. But she challenged those. And Amrita, thank you for being here and representing that. And Sujoy, Mr. Sarkar, he is the media director for the Shabbo College, and we're so happy that he's with us. And we have been talking for centuries that one of these days we'll start a channel with him, and we will do that soon. But thank you for being here. There are so many things in my mind I want to share with all of you, but I think the time is too short. And I'm going to invite Mr. Goel, Sanjeev Goel. He has worked on artificial intelligence. We know right now that that's what is the fade going on in all over the world. and all the companies are throwing a lot of money into AI, and he will tell us a little bit about AI, and then I will talk to you after he spoke. Then after he speaks, then how AI will change our emotional feeling and our perception in day-to-day life, our relationships and our social perceptions after he speaks. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a difficult topic, as you can imagine. So I'm sure everybody knows what is AI, right? So let me start with some stories which are important for this conversation today, because I was thinking, what can I share? So we all drive, most of us, and when you drive on the road, sometimes you see some driver who's driving crazy, and you feel like I should pick up the phone and call 911 because he can be a danger to some of us or all of us on the street. You arrive office, and somebody tell you that one of your colleague, his mom is sick and he's in the hospital, and you start thinking about that story or the story you have in your head, that stupid driver, and you say, oh damn, that Toyota Corolla must be Johnny. His mom is sick, so now his actions are accurate, and fine. You still don't know whether his actions are accurate or actions are wrong. So the point I'm trying to make it is, humans are so easy to be influenced. What about AI? And that's the biggest problem I wrote in my book about bias mitigation. And that's the biggest challenge we have. If you feed wrong data, it's going to give you the wrong information or wrong result. There are a lot of cases. I've talked about 4 cases in my book. And that's where I believe organization like this, IACF, has even, it's more critical now. Because how do we solve this bias? How do we solve this mitigation? How do we even mitigate this? Is by collaboration and communication. There is no other way to do it. And how do you collaborate and communicate? When you're yelling on each other and when you're telling everybody you are wrong, you can't do that. So we need more platform like this to support. And where I believe, Jeevan, we should think about it, how do we create a task force now? Because this is a serious effort, because the lot of literature we have, even including Kashmir, in the religion, all of that, spirituality, yoga, very soon we will have so much of, sad to say, crap and on the internet that the readers won't know what is right, what's wrong. Technologies like DALI, technologies like OpenAI, you can create content, and the content can be exactly what you want. We can influence people, and that is a big problem. I'll give you another interesting example. So Amit and me have a fund. We invest into companies. I am on the board of a university called TCNJ. I went there last year, and there were a lot of students. They were presenting their design project, next year project. They were looking for funding. There was one kid, he brought a toy, and he presented the toy. Everybody loved it. This toy can talk to you. And I was just wondering in my head, why do I need a toy to talk to? Think about it. And it's highly intelligent, it's AI driven, it can have a communication as if, or whatever the personality you want it to. It can be your buddy, it can be your wife, it can be your kid. And I'm scratching my head. Is that the world we are living in? And these are the kind of problems I believe AI is creating, and opportunities AI is creating for us, because in some scenario you do need such tools or such devices, but not in all the scenarios. So that's another big problem. This company got some funding. I'm not the one who wrote the check. Let's see where they go. But this kind of forum, what you have, all of you have built, is super critical today. I can't thank you enough for continue to push it and continue to take it to the next level. But my request to you is, all of you are spending a lot of time in White House and Congress. We really need, as a community, a platform where we can set these standards, where we can set these policies. That's my biggest fear. Otherwise, the narrative will be wrong. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jeevan. Very nice. I don't have much to add. He said my piece already. But one thing I would add that there were two professors. Both of these professors are black ladies. One is in UCLA, Dr. Novell, and then one is in Massachusetts from Harvard. She's Dr. Mulvaney. And Dr. Novell, she wrote about, she's a professor of Internet Studies at UCLA, and she has written a book called Algorithms of Oppression, about AI. Algorithms of Oppression. And you could Google search around the Google search. And then Mulvaney, she wrote a book called Coded Gaze. And there's another lady, Jasmine Gill. She wrote a book called Your Face Belongs to Us. It is about facial recognition. All of us are part of the pool at the international database. Any child who is born today, he becomes from the day he's born part of the database. And imagine if you're falsely matched with the face and with the crimes you never did. And I see those people falsely accused in the prison system I work at. And once you get entangled in the prison system in America, God save you. This system is so cruel. Once you get into that bed, no matter how much you work. Some of these attorneys, those who work for us as public defenders, they tell the inmate, even if they don't commit a crime, they said you have to take a plea deal. If you don't take a plea, they scare the hell out of them. If you don't take a plea deal, you may get 15 to 20 years of prison for doing nothing. And the inmate is saying, I didn't do any crime. He said, no, you have been caught there, and you have previous records. And if you don't listen to us, the jury may give you more time. And poor people, they don't have any legal funds to pay to. They don't have a family support system. They don't have any social support system. All the safety net in this country are gone, thanks to Republicans. So we need to really pay attention to these subtleties. So I would invite Dr. Jasveer Khan to share her perception about the world we live in. Dr. Khan. He's a physician by profession, a very well-known physician from university. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Greetings, good afternoon. I really don't have an assigned topic, so I'm going to speak very unscripted. I was listening to Dr. Goyal earlier. If you feed a wrong data, what product you're going to get out of it. So I think the narratives are very important. I spoke to Jeevan Ji, and his idea was that we really need to understand what are the issues which divide us. So we start the dialogue and then see how we can resolve those issues and build a unity. Unity is not like, say, we all know if you read any religion, they talk about humanity, equality, you quoted Guru Nanak, we can quote any, but that is more in a conceptual sense. But when it comes to the practical, I think it's about common cause. Cause will unite us. If we all believe that this is a just cause, we all need to work for it, that's where we unite. So first of all, I'm going to ask you a question. Please don't feel embarrassed. How many of you are going to go back to India? Raise your hand. You're going to go there and settle there permanently? retiring. So that's a long time for you. So
I believe all of us are global citizens.
no. So I'm coming to that. We must keep this in mind that we are Americans first. We all came from the same part of the world, and we have some shared heritage, shared culture, but this is where the home is. So that's where the action happens. This is our Karam Bhumi. So a lot of time we get so stuck in other parts of the world that we forget that where we are living. And or okay, even if we have 2 or 3 hands, ask your kids, how many of them want to go back? I mean, I'm not saying don't help India, or Pakistan or South Asia, because we all came from there. So we care about that part of the world. There was a really interesting dialogue yesterday I watched on YouTube. There was a Pakistani scholar, somebody was asking, are you guys Arabs or are you South Asian? So he said, well, the DNA, and even in Pakistan, 99% is Indian DNA. So basically, we came from same background, although we talk about, Mr. Goyal mentioned, we are global citizens, we are all human beings, and it doesn't matter where we come from, what color, what race, what religion we are, but still we have some commonalities where we identify, this is my community. I mean, community is a very porous. If you ask everybody, what do you mean by a community? Dr. Kumar may say, well, the mental health doctors are my community. And Mr. Jalali will say, well, Kashmiris are my community. I'm just assuming that, I'm not saying that's true, but community is when we have some shared values, shared ideas, shared goals. So basically I was invited to speak as a Sikh, although I'm not a very, we'll say, religious person, but I do belong to that community, so I do understand their sentiments and their feelings. And you touched on this issue about Indian government trying to assassinate some political activists in US or Canada. You may or may totally disagree with what they're doing. That's not the issue. The issue is, are we going to allow foreign governments to come and assassinate US citizens? Was there any Indian organization spoke against it? We're all silent on it. I haven't heard a single Indo-American organization saying this is wrong. Although we don't agree with the people, whatever they're doing, their acts, whatever, that's a separate issue. But as a principle, are we going to allow any foreign government to come to US and target our citizens? So that's where sometimes the difference of opinion may exist. Some people think, well, America does this in other parts of the world, and India can do the same thing. Let's talk about a narrative. So how the narratives are built. I just want to share my pain of my community. My parents were born in West Punjab, which is now Pakistan. They moved to India because we were promised India will be a secular, democratic, inclusive country. In 1947, Sikhs were a third party. When there was a negotiation with British, Sikhs were on the table. Mr. Baldev Singh represented us. But Nehru, our honorable former Prime Minister, assured him that we will make sure that your community's interests will be taken care of in India. Technically, if Sikhs had stayed in Pakistan, the Pakistan border would have been up to Delhi and Kashmir would have been in Pakistan. Sikhs made such a big sacrifice. How many of you know 45% of my community got homeless? 45% of my community got homeless in partition, and 1 million of my community died. I'm not saying all communities lost their loved ones, but when they came to India, India was reorganized based on language. The Congress at that time promised we're going to reorganize Indian states, because when British left, India had 585 different kingdoms, different areas, but So that was the stated policy. That's where I'm coming to. So that was the stated policy that India will be reorganized along the linguistic states. We all know Bombay was divided into Gujarat and Maharashtra. We all know Mysore state was divided into Kannada speaking, and Hyderabad state was divided into Telangana and Madras, and later on Tamil Nadu. So I'm not getting into that. So when Punjabis asked that we want a Punjabi speaking region carved out, you know what happened? When you raised the slogan, Punjabi Subba Jindabad, that meant long live Punjabi speaking state, that was considered sedition. The Indian government treated that as a sedition, as a separatist idea. The very people who loved India so much that they decided to come to India, live with India, and treat India as their, they always made maximum sacrifices. As of last week, the Tribune, which is a major newspaper in India, reported which states have the war widows. You know which state has the highest number of war widows? Anybody knows here? Punjab has only population of 30 million, but we have more war widows than UP, which has more than 20 million. So I mean, that shows they care about their, they don't have to prove their loyalty that they're truthful to their land where they live. But there is something called deep state policy. Like America has a deep state policy toward Middle East. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it, but there is a policy. It doesn't matter President is Obama or President is Trump or President is Biden. They can only work in this policy within certain range, but our overall policy is not going to change unless the policy is changed. I'm not getting into the policies right or wrong. You touched on that. So does Indian state has a policy towards Sikhs. That policy is not good, and that policy needs to be changed, because that policy treats us not as equal citizens in India, and that policy somehow wants to assimilate them, and if they don't agree, destroy the economy. Punjab had a #1 economy in India as of 2003. Now Punjab is at the bottom. Punjab had the lowest drug use 30 years ago. Now Punjab has the highest drug use. These shows that there is a deep depression, deep change in the state, in the population. So highest migrating community, people who are leaving Punjab in hordes. There was a story in the newspaper two weeks ago. 97,000 Indians were arrested on Mexican border, trying to get into US. You know which group was the largest out of them? Punjabis, by and large. So they are leaving their state in hordes and hordes and hordes, trying to cross border, come into US, come into Canada, wherever they can go. It sounds a little pessimistic. We believe in Chardi Kala, optimism. So what I'm trying to say is that this issue needs to be seriously discussed. How are we going to resolve that issue? You know why it's important? Right now, India needs a lot of American technology. India is trying to be building good relations with America because America is a superpower. We've seen what happened in Ukraine, how the Russian technology failed there. 80% of the Indian airplanes and tanks are built in Russia. We need American technology. So that's where our partnerships comes together. We need to, as a community, work together that we get the best things to the India. But it will not happen if we don't have a unity among us and we are working against each other here in America. So I'm here to create unity. So what I'm saying is, but I wanted to be very blunt to raise the issues. We may say shake hand, give a hug, but deep inside there are divisions which are purely purely product of wrong policies. If we can fix the policies, I'm pretty sure it's not just Punjab. We can solve the Kashmir issue. Even we can solve the issue with our neighboring country. I think we are a big brother. India has a great potential. India is going to be the superpower. India has 1.4 billion people, smartest people. Many of smart people are sitting here, like Dr. Goyal just spoke about AI, and many of you are amazingly smart. So my message is, let's sit down, let's figure out how we can break these barriers and send a message of unity back there. Hey, we are all South Asians, we can work together. Please don't bring the divisive politics in the name of religion, region, whatever. If you want to make a vibrant South Asia, America will have a role to play. Will have America and NRIs will have a role to play, because 1/5 of the world population deserves much better than they have right now. You know, we talk about Indian economy is now 5th or 6th largest economy. Yes, it is. You know what's the per capita income in India? $2,500. And they're saying that Indian economy is growing at 6%. It will take 12 years to double to $5,000. So average Indian is not wealthy. Average Indian is still struggling. And we can help them as Americans of South Asian or Indian origin. We can definitely take our talent, our skills. I would love to go back and spend time there and help my place where I was born. But you want a conducive atmosphere. And speaking on behalf of Sikh community has always gone over and above to give their best to the land wherever they live. I'm not saying others are not doing, but I'm saying that our people are very passionate, because we lived on a border, we faced the most invasions in Punjab. Everybody came to India through the land of 5 rivers. Some came as invaders, some came to spread their faith, some did to do some business, some, for whatever reason they came, they went through where I come from. So we, in a way we are lucky, we got exposed to all the cultures, all different ideas, other than British who came through the ocean. They came to Punjab last, by the way. So my idea here is that we really need to have a very deep discussions and influence the policymakers, both in America and both in India, so we can make that part of the world a better place for everybody, not just for one community, for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kang. You know, this is the dialogue we need to have, what we are doing today. And we need to educate our younger generation. I wish I could do it in a university campus, this event, but due to my own scattered schedule and my bipolar energies, I'm being pulled into different directions because of my own kind of emotional hurt I have endured over the years, and also because of what I see in the world and what Dr. Kang said about Sikh. And most of you know Sikhs are not only the people those who wear turban. There are Sikhs like me too in Punjab, those who don't wear the turban. There are Sikhs like Jeevan Zutshi in Punjab, those who don't wear the turban. But they are basically, there are a lot of Sindhis, those who are Sikh. But the Sikhism was not a religion when it started as a human rights movement. And what Dr. Kang talked about, in this country, most of you know, those who have run some eyes over the books on the historical facts in America, that in 1865, we have an Emancipation Proclamation in America, when blacks were given freedom to be human being again. And when Lincoln did that, he was killed within no time. He was assassinated. So I'm not going to get into too much detail. I asked our next panelist, Ms. Campbell, a city councilwoman from Fremont, to come and say a few words.
Thank you for having me here. Just like you, I have to have my notes because I can't remember what I'd like to say, so I like to keep my notes. But thank you so much for having me here with you this afternoon to talk about unity, diversity, and inclusiveness, because I think that's very important. Those are the buzzwords that you're hearing in local governments, in organizations now, that we want to make sure that we are inclusive of all people. I also wanted to thank you for bringing up your homeland. I am an American. I was born and raised in America, but I have African heritage. However, I can't go back to Africa because I was never there to begin with. Yeah. So, as you know, most of my history is here in America, where we were slaves for many, 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 many years, way too many for me to actually remember. But I can tell you that my great-grandmother was a slave. So it hasn't been that long ago that we have came out of that bondage, out of slavery. But in some ways, when we don't have unity, we are in some bondage, right? We hold ourselves back because we don't allow our voices to be lifted in the way that it should be lifted to support our culture. So I have just a few things that I wanted to say. I wrote down, unity means that every human being is worthy of profound respect. It doesn't matter whether you have $1 or $100,000, everyone deserves respect. And then I wanted to touch on a few points about what it means to build unity, or at least some of my thoughts on what it means to build unity. I heard someone mention earlier about volunteering. Find ways to help others, even if that means volunteering. I was talking to one of my friends, co-workers, on Friday, and she was fussing about something that was going on at work, and the relationship not being the way that she really wanted it to be. I said, you know what? If you say something nice to a person, you make their whole day. You look lovely today. Oh, I love your smile. Or thank you so much for doing that for me. That meant so much to me. Those are small ways in which you can help others, lift their spirit, mental health, all of the things that we're sort of talking about here today. Give people the benefit of the doubt. I heard earlier with your story about you don't know what people are going through. We make assumptions about people instead of saying, what's wrong with you? What happened to you today? You don't seem yourself. So those are the benefit of the doubt that we have to give people, not make assumptions. Focus on the positive. Our natural bent as human beings is to be negative. We're always pessimistic about something. But we could think of ways in which we could be positive and focus on the positive things that we see. I'm a very spiritual person as well, so I'm always looking for a scripture or something to help me stay positive, to keep me lifted up, because this world is not a nice place, as we understand that. Respect elders. I'm an elder. Respect your elders, because there's a lot of wisdom that comes from that. And if we sit and listen, we could share that wisdom that comes from being old and having living. I tell my granddaughter, you haven't lived long enough yet to understand what the world is really about. And then, of course, the last thing I'd like to share is to continue to embrace diversity. I know I was on the school board for Fremont Unified for 10 years prior to being elected to the city of Fremont City Council, and I was the only one that looked like me for 10 years on the school board, representing a very diverse community and the leadership just doesn't look like us. So I think that it's really important that we have leadership that looks like us, and that so that our voices can be lifted to share our history, to share our culture, to share our desires for the world and for our kids and for our grandkids and our great-grandkids and generations to come. So again, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Thank you. She said it beautifully in a very short time.
Yeah.
And with all those emotional wounds for centuries, and sometimes being in the mental health profession, because I live in that world every day when I leave my home 5:30 in the morning to go to prison and work, and when I'm with the patients, inmates, because most of them, they wanted to kill themselves, that's why they are in my unit. Some try to hang themselves, some try to cut their neck, some try to cut their private parts, some try to cut their veins, and I see the psychic pain every day. For the last 40 years I'm working with this field, and I'm still kind of blessed by God that I could do this kind of work day in and day out. And when I see community like this, all of you, a little bit so-called normal community, then I feel a little bit more that I'm a human being too, you know. So being from India, and why I wanted to share with you and what Ms. Campbell said, when I did my graduation from Government College Chandigarh, I topped in the psychology field. I got 71% marks. Because I'm from the weaver community, and weaving community in Punjab came under scheduled caste. When I topped in the school, I applied for a job. And then one of the teachers said, "Oh, you cannot get 71% marks because scheduled caste are so dumb. They don't understand. How could you get so many marks?" He said, "I don't accept this results. Why don't you redo the exam?" It's 1979-80. I had to redo the exam. I still got top marks. I did my master's. When I went to the teacher that I want to do something unique in my field, I don't want to sit in the library and do my research paper there. And she said, "No, you have to do what I tell you to do." I said, "No, I didn't listen. I'm Punjabi." So you cannot tell Punjabi, you know, what to do. They have to figure out on their own. And my grandfather was the lumbardar of the village. And to tell me, you have to do what I tell you to do, I didn't listen. When I didn't listen, the other people in my class, when they get practical marks out of 100, they get 95, 97 marks out of 100. And you could imagine how many marks I got. Out of 100, I got 40. But I didn't fade. I did my MPhil. I did my diploma in advanced labor law. I stood third in the university there. I applied for a job in Punjab University, Chandigarh. And I was the only scheduled caste candidate out of 22 candidates. There were 7 vacancies for scheduled caste. I was the only candidate qualified. When I applied for a job, they put me on the waiting list number 1, saying that all waitlisted candidates and all the selected candidates have been duly qualified by the selection committee. I went to the Vice Chancellor. I said, "You know, where is my reservation?" And he said, "We gave you a reservation." He said, "Where?" "We put you on the waiting list." I went to the High Court. I paid 25,000 rupees at that time to the attorney in Chandigarh. I sued the Punjab University. I'm the first scheduled caste to sue the Punjab University in the 80s. Because of me, even from 1987 when I sued the university until 2023, my case is still pending. And my brother, because my father was the only single earner, he sent 5 of us to Punjab University at Chandigarh to study. 5 of us were 5 siblings. younger brother of mine, he's a professor in PGI Chandigarh. He was not promoted because he will become head of the department for 26 years because of the caste system. So when we talk about discrimination, when we talk about unity, we really need to look at it. How do we treat people? Even Indians. I said Ramayana, our highest regarded religious epic of India, was written by Valmiki. Our Vedas were written by Ved Vyas. Mahabharata and Gita was written by Ved Vyas. And what I said about Kabir, all these people, those who have given us so much wisdom in the world, and we Indians boast about it in the world, that we are so rich in spirituality and that we are the Bishop Guru of the world in spirituality. And the people, those who gave up those books, that knowledge, today, still today we call them untouchables. And we need to pay attention to that. How could this wisdom-filled people could be so low-grade citizen of India? For centuries, we try to keep them away from schools, from temples, from gurdwaras, from mandirs, from any socialization. And now we try to bring this SB 403 here in this country, and everybody went against it. Only politically motivated people went against it. Only politically motivated people, those who want to divide us. And most of these groups are like cults. Even Democrat Party and Republican, they are cults. Because I'm in mental health field. You know what happens when you become part of the cult? Your thinking stops. You don't think independently. And most of the Punjabis are known for independent thinking, because we have that heritage of independent thinking. And most of the Kashmiris from Guru Tegh Bahadur time, we just had Guru Tegh Bahadur's sacrifice day. We call him Hind Ki Chadar. Why do we call him Hind Ki Chadar? We need to tell our children why Kashmiri Pandit, those who are suffering from so many centuries until today. Even Hindu government, now they are talking about only giving 2 result seats to them in Kashmir. 2. So it is nothing to do with religion, it is nothing to do with the rulers we have. It's not the ordinary people those who discriminate. I have so much deep respect for Jeevan Ji. He's like my elder brother. For 30 years, we eat together, we sit together, we discuss together. But look at this, how our institutions are structured and how they are designed, even in America. And Dr. Kang talked about deep state. We have deep state in India. We have deep state here. So let's join our heads together and hearts together to bring people. I'm not, this university who didn't give me job for so many, I went back last week. Miss Archana Panda, she was there as a poet. I organized Kavi Sammelan in Punjab University. I did my NGO in '96 to help people, those who are hard of hearing, because my father was hard of hearing. I'm getting there now. And my brother, he's expert in healing the hearing issues. So we tell the Chandigarh administration and Punjab University and PGI that we need a van to go to seniors' homes in Chandigarh, those who cannot travel to PGI. We have 11,000 people coming to PGI every day, 11,000 people. And doctors become crazy because they have 9 months waiting period to get a hearing test done. People come from Kashmir to get the hearing test done. So we told this Chandigarh and give us the van with the equipment. 5 years ago we told them. We submitted our proposal. And after 5 years, last month we got that van and with all the equipment, and then last week I went to inaugurate it, and I wanted to have Kavi Sammelan so that we could emotionally glue people together also. So I wanted to share with you that was done, and thank you to Archana ji and Naresh Sharma ji, he was part of that event. And I want to, it's free to everybody, not only in Chandigarh, in Panchkula, and now the chancellor and the registrar of the university which didn't give me the job, they are telling me to come and give a talk on 23rd of December this month on what I'm trying to do. And I'm going back on 23rd to give that talk. So I don't have any grudges because I'm into mental health. We want to stop victims from becoming the perpetrator. What we see in Israel, they call themselves the biggest victim of the world of Holocaust. But now they are the biggest perpetrators. With our help from the United States help, we give them weapons. We give them the technology know-how. And they are the, see in the prison, that book, can you give me that book top on the next one? The House of Healing. This book is called The House of Healing. It is written by prisoners, inmates, and those who have really gone through forgiveness, not only for the people they killed or they hurt, but forgiveness for themselves too. So this is the book, is my Bible when I teach these inmates. And it's Bible for me too. I try to learn from this book how to heal myself. And we need to create a world which is a world of healing rather than a world of hurt. So now I call upon Mr. Jalal to come and share his wisdom with us. Thank you.
First of all, I don't have to agree with Dr. Kumar saying that Jeevan Ji is my elder brother. He looks younger. Oh, I really heard that. In 9th century, there was this wise man by the name of Mullah Nasruddin, and he was asked by the people to come and talk at the town hall, in a meeting in a community hall. He initially refused, but the community continuously asked him to speak, and they insisted and pressured him to speak. So finally he agreed to speak, and when he went to the hall, he asked the people sitting in the crowd, so do you know what I'm going to say today? Of course, everyone said no. And he said, like, look, I'm not going to talk to people who don't know what I'm going to talk. So he left. Right? And the next time, the people who were smart, so they invited him again, and they decided we're going to, we have the answer. So when they got him back into the community hall to speak, and he said the same question again, do you guys know what I'm about to say? And everybody said yes, because they're all planned. And he said, like, well, if you already know, why do you need me here? And he left again. So finally they said, look, this guy's too smart, we're going to confuse him next time, we're going to make him speak. And they invited him again, and third time when they invited him, and he said the same question. It's like, you guys know what I'm going to say. So in order to confuse him, half of the audience said yes, and half said no. And he said, well, people who said yes can tell the people who said no, why do I need to be here? So what I'm trying to say is I'm not the wise man, but I'm really honored that Mr. Jeevan Ji has invited me here to be part of that such a noble group here and a panel here. And the whole, I mean, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. I think if you are here, you have already taken the first step towards the unity. That's the unity dinner. I think that's what really matters, right? Taking your time on a Sunday morning, coming here, being here. Everybody is busy, I know. But like Mr. Kang, who drove all the way from here, it's like inspiring. And I have a lot of love for people like Dr. Kang and Mr. Zutshi. And don't get me wrong, it's not that kind of love. And it's, actually, let me quote, I don't know how many of you know J.D. Krishnamurti. He said, it's not the rich who come to the truth, not the poor, not the austere, not the celibate, not the yogis, not the people who bow down, or not the people who do yoga all day, but it's the people with compassion. I think that's the problem in the world today. And in order to understand compassion, we must understand love. And love is not the pleasure, it's not the sensuality, it's not the jealousy, it's not the hate, it's not being generous, it's not being possessive. And to understand love, one must understand and have a great sense and appreciation of beauty. And again, not mix things like how Western media has done. It's not the beauty of a woman or a man, or a beauty of the great mountains or the majestic rivers, or the skies. And in order to really see what this beauty is and have an appreciation of the beauty lies, and you will find the beauty where the self is not, right? Where the self is not, that's where you find the beauty. When you admire, inspire the moon and the skies and the stars, you admire them because where the self, you leave the self behind. In today's society, what has happened was really in the race of, trying to compete and trying to be better than the other one. But when we leave that self for a minute, where we have that compassion for our fellow beings, for our fellow human beings, that's where the unity will start. Right? That's when we will start talking. That's when it goes beyond the boundaries of religion, color, race, about being rich and poor. It crosses all the boundaries when you have compassion for your fellow human being, for the people who are suffering in the world, for the poor who are dying, or any place you'll find there's a lot of hate today. And I'll sum it up with this one last thing. I'm an avid reader of philosophy and literature and mysticism, and I've read most of these books you guys are quoting. But it all sums up to one single story my dad often repeats in Kashmiri. It's a simple story, and it really sums up the whole knowledge. It's in Kashmiri, I'll try to translate it. He says there was a village where there was a well, and there was a dog who was sick, and he jumped into the well. And the well obviously got contaminated. Now, all the people in the town, they asked to this one wise man, so what do we do in order to drink this water from this well? They said, well, you need to take the water out of the well, completely empty it 7 times. Then you can drink it. And the villagers did that. They continuously did it, emptied it once, twice, 3 times, 7 times. After they did 7 times, they emptied the well. They went back to the wise man and said, the water still tastes pretty bad. He said, what, did you guys empty the well 7 times? They said, yes, of course we did. It's like, so did you remove the dog? No, the dog is still there. So it's like, guys, that's the problem. You empty the well 7 times, but you left the dog there. And what I'm trying to allude to is that dog, we just kind of built our system today till we don't remove this self-centered personalities where it's all about us. It's, the communities, the media that's driving hate, the culture, the cultural differences, the politics that are there to divide. We need to leave that behind, that division bought by politicians, polarization bought by the politicians, by religious differences, by cultural differences. We really need to leave that behind, leave our self-interest behind and try to really tap on our core competence, our core nature, which we call actually Dharma, our core nature, to be true human beings and be good human beings. And I wish this endeavor all success. And hopefully we can have more of those events. And being very cognizant of the time, I know it's Sunday, I'd like to thank everyone for attending and for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that wisdom. So I will ask Archana ji to come and let's expedite the process and say a few words.
Thank you so much. So I'll prefer to speak in Hindi, but I promise I'll translate because जब दिल की बात होती है तो अपनी भाषा में ज़्यादा खूबसूरत लगता है. कहते हैं शाख पर यदि एक भी पत्ता हरा रह जाएगा, शाख पर यदि एक भी पत्ता हरा रह जाएगा, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं मेरा पता रह जाएगा. मैं भी दरिया हूं मगर सागर मेरी मंजिल नहीं, जब मैं भी सागर हो गई तो मेरा क्या रह जाएगा. एक इंसान, a human being has something different from animals which we call intellect, mind, body, soul. हमारी जो सोच है, हमारी अंतरात्मा है, वो हमें जानवरों से अलग करती है. लेकिन क्या वाकई हम उसका इस्तेमाल, उसका प्रयोग करते हैं? धर्म क्या है? आज हम बात कर रहे हैं धर्मों पर, हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई, फलाना ठिकाना, 1000 धर्म होते हैं, कि धर्म है क्या? मुझे पता नहीं था आज की बातचीत क्या है. ये बस मैं जो सोचती हूँ मैं आपके समक्ष आज पेश करना चाहती हूँ. धर्म क्या है? योर नेचर, योर प्रकृति, योर ओरिजिन, योर ऑर्गेनिज्म, जो आपका नेचुरल सेल्फ है. पानी का धर्म है बहना, आग का धर्म है जलना, आइस बर्फ का धर्म है ठंडक. दैट्स नेचर, प्रकृति. वो कहते हैं ना, जब भूख लगने पे खाते हैं ये प्रकृति है, भूख नहीं लगने पे खाते हैं ये विकृति है. और भूख लगने पर भी खाना किसी को देते हैं, किसी भूखे को, वो भारतीय संस्कृति है. और उस संस्कृति को आप ध्यान रखिए, सोचिए. मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये जो मुश्किलें, वो इश्यूज आ रही हैं, वो किसी पॉलिसी या धर्म या गवर्नमेंट या पॉलिटिशियन से सॉल्व होगी. वो हमसे सॉल्व होगी. आपके अंदर क्या है? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? नोबडी कैन मेक यू थिंक अनलेस यू हैव इट इनसाइड. जो हमारी भावना होती है उसी को उजागर करते हैं, उसको बढ़ाते हैं लोग, लेकिन अगर अंदर नहीं है तो बढ़ा नहीं सकते. हाउ डू यू थिंक? क्या आप, मुझे किसी ने कहा अर्चना पांडा, आप, my parents, my forefathers were pandits of Jagannath Puri. अरे आप तो ब्राह्मण हो. मैंने कहा इसमें मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है. I didn't do anything. Did I do anything to get that credit? What did I do? I didn't do anything. So why should I feel very proud of being that? जो मैंने किया है वो मेरी संपत्ति है. But I was bestowed. So what makes it special to me? It's as good as anything else. No, I don't really feel anything important about that. बट अब समय आ गया है कि अपने धर्म को, अपने नेचर को, अपने सेल्फ को पहचानिए. हमको समय को देखकर ही नित्य चलना चाहिए. बदले हवा जब जिस तरफ, हमको बदलना चाहिए. विपरीत विश्व प्रवाह के निज नाव जा सकती नहीं, अपूर्व की बातें सभी प्रस्ताव पा सकती नहीं. जो होता आया है, हो रहा है, वही होगा, वही सही है, ये सही नहीं है. आपका दिमाग, मैंने कहा ना, आपका जो इंटेलेक्ट है, बुद्धिजीवी हैं आप. Can you think about it? क्या आप सोच सकते हैं? आप सवाल कर सकते हैं? हम सवाल करना सीखे ही नहीं हैं. We never learn to think or question. We have always accepted, जो मेरी माँ ने, मेरी ग्रैंड माँ ने बताया, वही हमने एक्सेप्ट किया है, वही करेंगे. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. Think about it. Even if it's silly, but ask questions. सवाल कीजिए. Is it right? Is it true? यही होना चाहिए, यही होगा. हो सकता है सही हो, but is it true? Is it right? Is it the thing? जो legacy है वो सही है? Can we change it in some way, in some subtle way? मेरा मानना है कि बदले ना बदले, लेकिन अगर आप सवाल करेंगे तो एक फर्क पड़ेगा. एक छोटी सी कविता के साथ मैं छोड़ूंगी, बिकॉज बहुत सारी बातें कहने के लिए है. लेकिन अगर ये बच्चन जी कविता है और इसमें कहता है, मैं हूं उनके साथ खड़ी जो सीधी रखते अपनी रीढ़. रीढ़ अर्थात सोच, आपका सवाल, आपका क्वेश्चन, आपकी नई पद्धति. इट्स जस्ट नॉट अ चेंज ऑफ पॉलिसी, धर्म, एनीथिंग. इट्स योर क्वेश्चन, इट्स योर एटीट्यूड. आपकी जो पर्सनालिटी, आपका जो पर्सोना है, आपका जो अस्तित्व है, आपका जोश, जुनून, आपका जो जज्बा है, वो जिंदा रखिए. सिर्फ डॉलर के पीछे भागते 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 हम इतना खो जाते हैं कि हम सोचना भूल जाते हैं. हम जीना, जिंदगी को फुल मेजर में जीना भूल जाते हैं. सुनिएगा, मैं हूं उनके साथ खड़ी जो सीधी रखते अपनी रीढ़, नहीं झुका करते जो दुनिया से करने को समझौता, ऊंचे से ऊंचे सपनों को जो देते रहते न्योता, दूर देखती दिन जिनकी पैनी आंख भविष्य का तमचीर, मैं हूं उनके साथ खड़ी जो सीधी रखते अपनी रीढ़. तुम हो कौन? Who are you? If the whole society tells me is one thing, but I believe मुझे अपने आप पे भरोसा है, मैं सही हूँ तो हूँ. ये है तो है, अपने आप पे वो विश्वास और भरोसा रखिए. तुम हो कौन कहो जो मुझसे सही गलत पथ लो तो जा, सोच सोच कर, पूछ पूछ कर, बोलो कब चलता तूफान. सतपथ है वही पथ, सतपथ है वही पथ जिस पर छाती ताने जाते वीर. मैं हूं उनके साथ खड़ी जो सीधी रखते अपनी रीढ़. जय हिंद.
Thank you, Archana. You know what you said, I'm reminded of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He came to this country in 1913. 1913. He is the one who wrote, who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly of Indian Constitution. He didn't have enough money to take care of his 2 kids, those who died from lack of medical care. He could have stayed here, but he went back to India. He is the father of human rights in India. He is the father of women's rights in India. He is the father of gave women the property rights in India. He is the father who gave the labor rights in India. He is the father who gave us the land rights in India. So when we look at these, what Archana ji said, that you need to have your thinking set as independent. And don't get swayed by what people tell you to do. God has given you that intellect, as she said. Let's use it. And that's where now I'll ask Dr. Konda to come and say his piece so that we could move on.
Thank you, Dr. Harmesh, and esteemed panel here, and our beloved younger brother. I would take, I'll take the lead, and our younger brother here, Jeevan Zutshi ji, has been in the community service for more than 30 plus years. He's been inspiring our community and bringing us together without any other agenda but bringing community together, regardless of the origin, religion, whatever we bring with us. He's a great man, and I get every day inspired looking at my brother here. Please give him a big round of applause, Jeevan Zutshi ji. Thank you, ji. And it's a 30 years anniversary we are going to celebrate with our young president, Amit ji, going to lead us with the IACF 30th anniversary. There's a big work cut out for him. I think that's why he invited his brother here to support Sanjeev ji. So thank you, Amit ji, for putting this together along with Harmesh ji and the team. So just coming back, I just acknowledge one more piece of my own friends who are visiting here. They are from India. Chandrasekhar Rentala is the Joint Secretary for the Department of Labor, State of Telangana. Please give me a round of applause too. He's going to make, so I requested them to make some notes so they can comment at the end maybe. And also, we have Rabindra Shah is Chief Engineer for Tata Engineering Company. He works for Tata, Ratan Tata directly, what I understand. So 30 years in the Tata company. So they are prominent, from India. So thank you for taking time and being with us. And hopefully you can add some comments from your observations. So quickly, I know we are, I think we're all lot of good things already covered here. So I'll just touch some notes I made. By birth, when you're born, nobody tells you you're Hindu or this or that or anything, right? So it's all like data points we get from people, your parents or somebody else. Hey, you're that, like Archana ji rightly mentioned. It's bestowed on us. Like we don't, like when I'm born, I don't say I'm this or that, right? I'm just like a human being. So that's what we have to keep in mind. These are all other things we got through the society. And as Sanjay ji mentioned, whatever the data we get fed, that's output, right? If we have wrong data, we have wrong output. And our mind is AI, pretty much, as you rightly said. And I read his book, as I mentioned, is very practical sense. Give him a big round of applause, putting that book together. You know, I told him earlier, there is no algorithm, there is no math, but it's a book about how we think and how we can leverage the artificial intelligence in our own sense, in the business, in our lives. So, you know, so that's what I think. We get all the wrong data from the community or different places. I mean, not always, but if we get the wrong data, then whatever we do, it comes out. So I think it's important to, clean the data. And one of the steps in the algorithms or AI is you gather the data, but you cleanse it. If you don't cleanse it, then we have the wrong data and wrong prediction. So cleansing is the part where we can take ownership as a human being, our own mindset, how we can cleanse good versus bad. So that is the power we have, which we can empower ourselves to clean the data. And also when we touched on the religion, like Harmesh mentioned at the beginning, religion, no religion says you hate that or you hate this or you like this. It doesn't say. It all says we are all harmony. We have to create the harmony, community, belief system, right? When we go to temple or when we go to prayers, Gurudwara, anywhere, we are praying, spending time to clean our mind and devote ourselves. We don't go and pray trying to hate someone or trying to do these bad things, right? When we go praying, we are cleaning ourselves to have clean mind, loving mind, and a harmony. So these are the places where we go worship, and we have to incorporate that when we come out also, out of the temple or prayer place. So that is the important thing what, we can practice. And, last thing, the policies, I think a council member left, but, the policies driven, policies drives our human, behavior also. And the policies made by ourselves. And we have to empower ourselves, like Harmesh ji is, running for the Senate. He ran for different positions and he's very active in the political area. The policies are made to make betterment of our lives, our societies. So we have to be empowered to tell the policymakers, if we are not in that seat, so whatever the means we have, like voting or whatever, like reaching out to our elected members to educate them and give the advocacy to the community and bring the uplifting so that we have the better policies. So all the policies are helpful to everyone. So today, some policies may not be helping everyone. So that is where, as a community member, as a empowered people, we should align with our community and political system and be active and be advocate to make it better society. The last one, I'll close this here. Obviously, we all know the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. World is one family. Obviously, we have here, we know it's a word, but, we have different divisions for whatever reasons. We cannot avoid that, but, at least going forward or within the intelligent group, we should take empowerment to educate our fellow community members to think in front of everyone or at the family level, in the community, a phrase of being human being, and the world is our one family, and help each other and bring the communities together like this. Thank you, Harmesh ji, for hosting this event. I appreciate it. Thank you for time and listening to my few words.
Thank you, Kanda. Dr. Kanda. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. We wanted to do it for a longer time, but we don't have enough human resources right now with us. And all of you, I know you came on Sunday, and you all have important work to do on your weekday off. And I want to thank Kulwant ji Dr. Kulwant Gill. He's an open space of Santa Clara County. Been a good friend. And Amarji, thank you for taking the lead and becoming, taking that burden of being the president of Indo-American Community Federation. I'm looking forward to work with you. And Archana ji, thank you. Dr. Khan, thank you for coming all the way from there. And Dr. Goel, Konda ji, and Hilali ji. I think we have to leave with these two things I will say only at the end. One is that, Brahma created the world. That's what we say in Hinduism. But we don't have in Brahma's temple in India. Anybody who wants to create something, we want to forget him. But we want to market religion, then we bring Vishnu ji and Lakshmi ji. So in India, I'll say many things about that, but Kabir ji said at the end, I'm going to end it with this, that Pothi pad pad jag bua, Pandit gaya na koi, Dhai akshar prem ke, pade so pandit hoye. Let's learn that language of love. All our spiritual leaders have told us. With that language, we could cure the world and we could bring the harmony in the world. Thank you, Jeevan ji, for being our mentor. Thank you for all. Okay, Ali.
Thank you. I just want to recognize the three friends who came. Mr. K, he's from Maharashtra. Actually, he called me from Bombay at Taj Hotel. They were commemorating that attack on the hotel. He always advocates that we all need to be very honestly having a dialogue. That's the only way we're going to find a common ground. And I have a good friend in IT here, Amit Palsara. He's associated with Fremont Gurdwara. My friend, Dr. Kumar, he's a very, very successful veterinarian and he lives in Cupertino. So I want to thank three of them. There's a lot to say, but in the end, I think we all need to work together, try to understand our commonalities, our differences, and build toward how we can make our community more vibrant. I mean, it depends how we define our community. I think, as you mentioned, the whole world is our community. Thank you.
We'll do a bigger event next time. Thank you, Jeevan ji. Thank you for coming.